Well, we are at my house in my kitchen. And this is where Konnichiwa record was started. And this is where we made all the plans for how to release my album in Sweden, but also kind of change, I think, the idea of what my music was, and bring focus back to, you know, me as an artist instead of me as this Swedish kind of, I don't know, national treasure. Konnichiwa Records was able to make a deal with Island Records where we are still, me and Def, as Konnichiwa Records, are still in control of the whole creative process, and all the decisions go through us. It hurts with every heartbeat. I'm now in a situation where I have the best of both worlds. I can still keep my independence, but also work, you know, with this big major record label, but on my own terms, which is something I'm very happy about. So right across the street, I played one of my first shows in London, and it was like, it's in this little downstairs club, and we had like maybe 80 people in the audience or something. Funny. I played in London for about 9 months before the record started doing well on radio, before With Every Heartbeat did so well. So we started with like 50 people in the crowd, and then 100, and then 150, and like really building it slowly. And that was one of the first places I played. When I make a song, I mean, I think that there's always something I'm looking for, and that can be found in new music, but it can also be found in old music that I listen to, you know, as a kid. I grew up on pop music in the 80s, and my parents were into, you know, a lot of the big artists like David Bowie and Talking Heads and Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush. Even though they were into theater, I think, you know, they always had a big interest for music. There was electronic music and modern music, but there was also a lot of great pop music in my home. To me, pop music was never something bad or boring. Pop music was a place where I felt that I could relate to in a very creative and artistic way as well. Oh, what's this? Electronics. This is good. Right now, I'm starting to think of the next album, and I'm going back to Snap and Technotronics and all that stuff that I was listening to as a teenager in the 90s. Oh, look at this. Look at that. They were my heroes when I was a teenager. I loved them. I loved their clothes and that they were so tough and... I want to look tough. I want to look like I'm myself, you know, and that I have an independence in how I look at who I am. I love Dr. Martens and, you know, all of those things like bomber jackets and all that stuff that I grew up with. All of those things I used to wear as a teenager. It makes me feel like I'm cool. It makes me feel like I'm outside looking in and I know something that other people don't, you know? Style is really important to what I do, and to me, it's not about fashion. It's about what I communicate with what I'm wearing. All right. I love working with my band. It's a small band, but we make a lot of noise. I have 2 drummers and a keyboard player, and we use a lot of electronic instruments, electronic drums and computers and stuff. I didn't want to take this thing on stage and just do everything with acoustic instruments and like make it feel like it was live. I wanted it to be an experience that was just as strong as when people are actually listening to the album.
It's a tape echo. It's a real one.
I've been playing with this band for about 3 years, and one of the drummers I've been playing with since, 5 years back, and the other drummer, Claire, is a friend of mine. It's a really good band, and we know each other very well, and they're very creative people. It's not a band where I tell them where to play. It's everyone is really involved, and it's a really good thing to be able to bring them over here as well. Ow! Usually what we do when we go on stage, we just high-five each other really hard. So that our hands kind of go red. Well, to start your own company is a lot of work, and it's not something you can do with your kind of eyes on the results all the time. You have to be very present in the moment and find your way through it and make sure you work with the right people and take it step by step, basically. So it's a very kind of complicated process, and you have to be ready to really invest time if you want to start your own record company. But I think it's worth it. I think it's the best thing I've ever done.